Hey, it's Jay Beam here, and today I decided to focus on animation for my industry research project. I've always been drawn to animation. As a kid, I would watch shows like Ed, Edd and Eddy or SpongeBob. When we were growing up, some of the only kids shows or movies were purely animation. Maybe just the vibrant colors or the endless possibilities of the animation world that studios knew kids would be mesmerized by. It's not like a kid wants to watch Casablanca or Real People for that matter. They would much rather watch something that feeds their imagination. Animation opens a whole new world where the possibilities are endless. Nothing is really too out there. Some say animation dates all the way back to prehistoric times or Egyptian times, and I know it's not the same type of animation we first think of, but they drew stories on walls, pottery, and caves. They depicted people and things in motion throughout several drawings, which is what one of the main skills of animation titles. Being able to capture the motion of something. Then later on, animation moved to shadows. People used lanterns and whatnot to project images and tell stories using their hands and other instruments. Then, as film started to become a thing, a few talented individuals would draw directly on the film stock, going frame by frame and making something incredible out of it. Some artists would even paste certain objects on the film to create their vision, which is how one of the short films, Mothlight, was created, one of the earlier and most known animated pieces out there. I have done the same thing with drawing on individual sticky notes and flipping through them to make something, but have always wanted to try the technique of film stock. Stop motion came soon after. You know what that is, I don't have to explain it to you. As the process of animation developed, the outcome of it became more and more pristine. Many consider the first animated feature to be Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, being produced in 1937, but it was an extraordinary step in animation. Time moved on and things kept getting better. I remember as a kid, out of the many animated shows and movies I endured, the 2000s film Dinosaur was one of the most visual pleasing animated films. Even though I do forget the name of the movie all the time because it's so simplistic. Animation got to the point where things started to look real, for the time at least. Now we have completely new standards to our animation. Special effects in movies are practically all animated. We can't even tell a difference nowadays, even though we may know deep down. We've gotten to a point where we won't even watch a YouTube video if there's not an animated intros to it. Animation is literally everywhere. It's on ads on the street, or social media, in video games, sometimes even on our buildings. We can't escape it. There are social media pages out there strictly for animated pieces that gets thousands of followers. Many people don't know how much time goes into animation, but realistically, it takes frickin' forever. Unless you're South Park. I've done some animation myself, and man, is it tedious. I'll put up my best animation project on the screen right now. I did a hand-drawn piece, which took a very long time for only being 30 seconds. Going frame by frame, moving everything just a little bit. Sure, it's not the easiest form of animation to do nowadays, but I wanted to test myself. It turned out pretty good though, I would say. And I made it end where it starts so it can go in a continuous loop. It helped me understand animation and what those people in animation have to go through. I've since had a passion for it. My brother was an animation major here at DePaul a couple years ago, and since then he has been doing some incredible work. Check him out on Instagram at Shane Beam. He has worked on a bunch of stuff, but has recently been working on a music video for a local Chicago band. Don't know the name of the band, sorry, not my type of music. Anyways, I've gone back to find hidden animation gems in history. Some personal favorites of mine are Heavy Metal and Fritz the Cat, which were both produced in the 1990s. While a lot of animation back in the day was for kids, there are some feature films that were for adults, which those are. More and more shows and even movies are being produced that are that are for adults and are completely animated. Sort of what I like to write. Sausage Party, believe it or not, was a huge risk. Even though being produced by Seth Rogen, it has an automatic fan base. Adult animated movies are a big risk unless they're on a well known show like South Park or Futurama. There aren't many of them compared to live action. I have been writing a lot of animated shows since then and have loved every minute of it. Being able to have very minimal boundaries and create a whole world from scratch is really a cool feeling. I love the sort of vibe that Adult Swim goes for and could see my stuff fitting in. Not the weird late night side like Squidbillies or Mr. Pickles, even though I do enjoy them from time to time, but more like Rick and Morty and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. But yeah, animation is all around us. Being in the film industry, it is important for us to acknowledge it as it's changing the film game. What I want to see in the future is a streaming service that is strictly animated adult shows and movies. Let's make it happen. People know what they're getting into when they throw on an adult animated show like Archer, Rick and Morty, or Family Guy. They know that the world and characters they're about to experience is about to be absurd and exaggerated as fuck. You turn on an animated show because you want to experience a whole nother world where things don't have to make sense within the real world. Honestly, look at it as its own genre. I watched Trailer Park Boys as an early high schooler, which my mom didn't totally agree with, but they came out with a new animated series, which is literally just Trailer Park Boys but animated. It allows them to reach a whole new level and storylines that they wouldn't be able to do in their live action series. It also allows them to carry on the memory of John Dunsworth, or Mr. Leahy from the show. Rest in peace. He died in 2017, but them having a tons of deleted scenes of him just going on his rants, they were able to implement him in the animated series, just using the audio. When you pay attention to his lines in the animated series, you notice that it's completely out of context, but it works because that's what he is known for in the show, being one of the most entertaining drunks in television. So that was really cool. Anyways, thanks for listening to my project. I'll see you in the next one.